There's something living in the green flash. You know the green flash. It happens when the sun sets over the ocean and the air is deathly still. Just as the sun dips below the horizon, there's a brief but blinding green light. The old sailors thought it was a bad omen, a portent of impending doom. Everyone in San Diego knows about the green flash. Haven't you heard about it? Anyway, this story happened to a friend of mine. Well, a friend of a friend. I saw this guy at a bonfire one time after I knocked back a couple of Pacificos and smoked a little green flash myself. You know what I'm saying? So I know this story is totally legit. Did I see him there? Oh well. So this guy, name's Brody Bradley, used to be pretty heavy back in junior high before the gods of puberty smiled favorably upon him. But now he's like a fully cut surfer dude with a sick tattoo of Aquaman fighting the creature of the Black Lagoon. It's the blonde Aquaman, and not the one who looks like he's from a bad remake of Conan the Barbarian. Well, one evening last October, Brody takes his paddleboard down to La Jolla Shores, trying to sneak in and sunset paddle. And of course, as soon as he gets there, the lifeguard station does their whole spiel. Lifeguards will be going off duty for the evening. Please limit your water activities for the evening. The captain who just did the announcement sees Brody and says, "You know, tonight is a full moon, and conditions are perfect for a green flash. I wouldn't go out there if I were you." Brody looks at him and just says, "Cool, bruh." Brody paddled his board on over to the kelp beds. It's a good 200 yards from the shore, and he's trying to enjoy the sunset where it's deathly quiet, except for the water walking his board back and forth. And that's when he saw it, the green flash. It totally blinded him. And I heard it was the coldest light he'd ever felt in his life. And then, BAM! He's out cold. When he woke up, he was someplace else. And I don't just mean somewhere else in the water. I mean some real Stranger Things type of shit. Wherever he was, he said the sky was red, like blood, and the water was black and thick. The shoreline looked the same, but the sunset bonfires burned blue. So Brody starts paddling back to the shore to see if he can figure out what's going on. And as he's paddling, he looks down in the water and sees this little blue light. It's one of those, what do you call them? Bioluminescence. You know, those lights that only fish from the deepest part of the ocean have. This light is floating around his board. He puts his hand in the water to touch it and zap! Shocks him. Next thing you know, there's 2 of these lights. Then 5, 10. He loses count around 20 or so. They're all circling around both sides of his board. And that's when the lights come up out of the water. They're on the back of this green tentacle. The tentacle comes down and cracks his board in 2. Brody had to jump into the dark water to start swimming as fast as he can towards the shore. He gets about, 50 yards or so, he says, from the land when this tentacle grabs him and pulls him right under. Now he's punching at this tentacle, just fighting for his life. And he sees it. It's shaped like a man, but it had these 4 great tentacles coming out of its back. You know, like Dr. Octopus from the Spider-Man comics. Its body is covered in these blue lights, so Brody can see its face real clearly. It didn't have a nose and it had a smooth head. It had these giant overlapping teeth like one of them anglerfish. But the worst part, he says, were the eyes. Just giant, black, bulbous eyes. If he wasn't trapped under the water, he would have screamed. So Brody manages to get this tentacle off, and he starts swimming again. He managed to get to shore, looking for someone for help, but wherever the flash took him, there's no one there. Just him and this thing. He looks down at his ankle, where the monster caught him, and it's just torn up. Blood and everything. He falls to the ground, unable to walk. He feels fine. Then he sees it. It's coming out of the water. This monster. It's coming right for him. But he can't move. He can't even scream. It's paralyzed him. This thing must have had poison in it, just like a sea anemone. It's creeping closer towards him. It gets right up on top of him, ready to finish him off, and then flash! Brody says he sees another green flash. And the monster was gone. That second flash must have brought him back to our world and left the monster behind. The lifeguard's dawn patrol found him on the beach a few hours later, just lying right where he fell. They patched his leg up, and Brody hasn't been in the water since. It's all true, I swear it. I know lots of folks say there's no such thing as a green flash, but you won't ever catch me out on the open water near sunset, because you just don't know what might be in the green flash.